Well, it's July. We are at the end of July, less than a month away from when school begins, so I thought it's time. It is time for our first video introduction to English class. I'm going to begin by talking you through the APA formatting, as you'll be using that to write some papers. Now, your rubric will delineate everything that you need. There will be different standards that are required for 9th and 10th grade versus 11th and 12th grade. So definitely use your rubric as a guide. But I put together this Google Slides so that it will help you to know exactly what I'm looking for. So let's begin right now. I'll share this Google Slides with you in just a few moments once we get our class list all made up. But we have here a couple of resources. Let me go ahead and just slide this over so you can see what we're going to be looking at. I'm going to walk you through each of these resources over the next about 10 minutes or so. But what you'll do is you'll come to the Google Slides, you'll open the Google Slides, come to the second one here, and you'll go right down these hyperlinks. This is so that if you forget what we've talked about in class, or if you were having a headache today during class, you'll still be able to get the resources you need to write a well-formatted paper. Let's go ahead and begin. Get us out of these Google Slides and go straight to the first resource, which is EasyVid. Let me scroll it down as soon as my computer wakes up. Okay, APA formatting. This is the first link there on the second slides for you. And your question might be, well, Mrs. Bonner, when you worked with us 2 years ago, we used MLA. And that's correct, you did. That's because that is the basic, or perhaps the foundational, the easier route, I hate to say, but really it is, the easier route to write a paper. And it's a great way to write a paper. You'll use it probably in your English Comp 1, you'll use MLA. But as I'm trying to prepare you for college, when you go to college, you'll also have some more technical classes in which you'll need to write some more technical papers. And for those, you'll use APA formatting. So that's what this tutorial is, to help you prepare yourself for. I want you to recognize that there are different ways to write many papers, and you need to make sure that you can adjust to the way that your teacher instructs you. So we're going to begin by looking at APA formatting. When you get to this web page, it has a number of specifics spelled out for you. That's why I've included it. It also has the handy little APA formatting machine happening right up here. Don't rely just on that. That will probably be sufficient, but you need to know the specifics in your head to make sure, because in the end, it's not going to be that little machine that's going to actually get the grade. You are. And quite frankly, even greater than the responsibility of the grade is your knowledge base. You need to make sure you can clearly communicate to your audience what they're trying to understand from your research. And that's why we're doing this little tutorial. Okay, so here's some of the specifics. It gives you great visuals so you can come in and see specifics. But I'm not going to labor this point too long because I've got some other resources I want you to look at. Many of you are going to want to know every single detail to writing an APA paper. So I'm going to take you to, as soon as I can get to that page, you won't have to do any of that clicking I just did. You're just going to go right to your Google Slides and click the second hyperlink now. And when you do, it will take you here to owl.purdue.edu. From this, you're going to click right here on the Purdue Online Writing Lab. And from that, you're going to then scroll down. So let me get this moved down here to right here, the APA Guide. You'll click on the APA Guide. And from there, I would suggest you jump right into your formatting and style guide. Now, some of you would like to know all of the details, and that's great. We'll talk about many of the details in class. But if you want to know all of the details, you just start right here in a vertical manner, and you just work yourself down. They have a PowerPoint presentation and everything. So here at this website, you're going to see a lot of specifics. It has a vidcast series that you can watch, the YouTube channel. All of those things will be helpful to you. Right down here, you'll notice over on the left side of your computer that there's a whole subcategory of, almost as if it were outlined, reference guides that you can just click there and it'll take you straight to those specific topics. But again, I'm not going to stay here too long. This is just for those of you who want all the specifics. I'm going over those. I'm getting to those of you who just want to know how to do it without any specifics now. So after you've looked at those two first hyperlinks, you're going to say, okay, I know how to do this. I know how to write a paper. I've already researched. Remember, in order to write a research paper, you need to research. And writing the paper happens after you've done your research. So you're going to come here to your Google Drive, click New, click Google Docs, and then I should be more specific. Rather than clicking just anywhere in Google Docs, click right here on the arrow. And when you click that arrow, it's going to give you the option to click here from a template. For my class, this is going to be sufficient. There are many teachers who want you to go through and do all of the formatting, customize everything from a blank document. Google has already done that work for you, so that is sufficient for me. We're going to scroll all the way down here to education. It's just about at the bottom. And here you'll see we have essay, report, MLA, and now report APA. That's when you're going to want to click. Make sure you look right down here, APA. When you do, you're pulling up a template. That means they have already gone through and done all of the specific formatting for you according to their guidelines. And their guidelines align closely with OWL.Purdue as well as EasyBib. This right here will be very helpful to you. You'll start with it. There'll be some things that you'll delete, and there'll be some things that you add. But for the most part, this is what you're going to need. And it's all spelled out to you in your rubric. You'll see that you don't need to have author's note, so you'll just highlight that and then click delete. But you will start on the next page. You'll start your abstract. Notice that abstract is not bolded, is not underlined, is not in quotation marks. The reason I point that out to you right now is because I'm going to have a paper that we're going to click in just a second, and they do bold that. And right away, some of you are going to go, I don't know what to do. Do I bold it? Do I not bold it? Breathe. Go back to your rubric. Look at your rubric, and you will see right there it says, do not bold the word abstract. So the reason the other sample paper did is simply because their teacher must have asked them to. They're doing what their teacher asked, and that's what you really want to do when you're working on a paper. So let me take you back here to our Google Slides before I show you that sample. You'll notice here on the Google Slides, and right now I just have it in preview mode rather than present because it'll make it easier for us. Right here it tells you sample paper. So you already looked at EasyBib. You already looked at OWL.Purdue. Now you're going to see an actual sample of a paper. This tells you really step by step what I'm looking for. You can go and look right here at the sample paper, and you would click it here, but since I already have it pulled up, I'm just going to click the tab. It will take you to this website. Here you're going to click Literature Review Sample 2. It's loading, and then here is your paper example. Now, one of the things right away that you should know that is different in this sample as opposed to the sample you'll be doing for me is this young man's paper is 14 pages. I'm not going to ask you to do a 14-page paper, but he's talking here about cyberbullying, and the way that he has it set up, I really like. So that's why I've given it to you as a sample. You'll notice at the top of the very first page, he has the words running head. That needs to be on your first page, just like that. Don't bold it, don't highlight it, don't put quotations around it, but do follow it with a colon, and do follow it with the title, the keyword title that you have that will run throughout your entire paper. Then he has his title. This is his full title, his name, and the institution for which he is writing it. Next, he has his abstract. You want to think of an abstract as a bite before dinner. So growing up, one of my favorite dinners was, and still is, a roast with carrots and potatoes. And I remember whenever Mom would make that meal, I would always want to go in there before it was time for dinner with a fork and just grab some of that side roast beef off and take a bite before dinner. That's really what this abstract is. It's you going into the kitchen of your paper, taking off a very important bite of your paper that bite would need to be the central idea of your paper, and giving your audience that little bite, just kind of whetting their appetite, getting them to salivate for your delicious feast of a paper that you're going to present to them. Your abstract needs to run 150 to 250 words, and in that you're trying to give us the purpose of your paper. And then you simply begin your paper on the next page, and all of these specifics again are spelled out for you in your rubric. You will notice this. I'm going to just scroll down, and if you look over here, they have a heading that is bolded. If you were to follow this heading down, you would see that it's almost like an outline of his key points. And so you would almost look at this as Roman numeral 1, the prevalence of cyberbullying, and then this as letter A, types of people, B, types of people. Then we keep going down, C, relationship between. Then as you continue on, now you have Roman numeral 2, effects of. And so that's really what the headings are for. Some of you will say, well, why do they do that? And how do you decide what words to put there as the headings? It's really based upon your research and your topic. It works very much like an outline. It's to help the audience be able to organize what it is that you're writing. Of course, no APA paper would be complete without the last page or last couple pages, and I hope I'm not making you sick by scrolling so quickly, but I want to get us here to one of the last pages, which is your reference page. And there's the number of specifics all spelled out for you in your rubric, but you'll have all of the people that you have cited in your research. They will be listed in alphabetical order, of course, with last name first. You'll notice that everything is double-spaced. You double-space the entire page. And pretty much that's APA formatting. So we'll go over a number of things together in class and specifics, but that's your introduction. I hope it's been helpful, and I can't wait to see you in less than a month. I know you're so excited, but I am too. See you then.